Filmi recaps presenting Monolith. The movie opens with an ad, which describes a futuristic artificial intelligence car called the Monolith. It describes its safety features: an unbreakable glass, it has nanotech armor and ultra-thin bulletproof windows. This car is a completely safe environment. The car has an artificial intelligence computer, called Lilith, which makes the user experience better. Then we see a woman named Sandra with her 2-year-old son David in a Monolith car. While in the Monolith car given to her by Carl, her husband, Sandra heads in the direction of Carl's parents' house. She introduces herself to Lilith and asks about different features. At the same time, Sandra receives a call from Carl. He is a pilot, who tells her that he is in a hotel and just finished his duty. Carl hears someone knocking at his door and hangs up the call. Sandra then stops at a gas station and brings her son to the washroom to change his diaper. She gets out of the washroom to buy some snacks, and when she is in the shop, she sees that someone is trying to unlock her car. She takes her phone, which has Monolith app installed, and locks it from the shop, which scares the guy to leave. Sandra suddenly notices that David is not with her. She starts to search the store and shouts for him. She then came out of the store and sees that he is with some girls playing with him. She then takes him and quickly sits in the car and activates its vault mode to avoid a guy from getting in. She then leaves the place in a hurry and heads toward her destination. In the middle of the journey, she calls her friend Jessin and realized that she is with her husband. She reached Carl's parents, but becomes very sad because her husband cheated on her. She calls Carl, but he is not answering, so she decides to go to his location in the Los Angeles Central Airport, which is 320 miles away from her. In the middle of the way, Lilith alerts her about an accident on the way and delay is to be expected. Sandra asks Lilith for an alternative shortcut, on which Lilith gives her direction of an off-road of 50 miles. Sandra then takes the shortcut and shortly it is getting darker. She didn't see any traffic on the road, and it is a deserted place. Shortly she sees an electric station, and no one was present. Sandra lights a cigarette to relax, but Lilith initiates the car's smoke alarm, which causes her accidentally hits a wild deer. David scares to see this, and begins to cry. Sandra gives him her phone with a game to keep him busy. Sandra is in panic, and came out of the car to check what happened. She then realizes that the deer is dead, and stuck below the car. She becomes very nervous to see it. On the other hand, David accidentally opens the Monolith app and activates the vault feature, which locks the car from the inside, and doesn't let anyone enters the car. Sandra is frustrated to see this, because she has no other way to unlock the car. She then tries to make David deactivate the vault feature, but he didn't understand her, and drops the phone under the seat. Sandra starts looking for different ways to open the car and tries to break the windows, but is unsuccessful. The car is very hard to break in, so she heads to that electric station to find some help, but didn't find anyone there too. She tries to make a call, but it's not working. She takes some equipment and gets to the car. In the midst, a wild dog follows her to attack her, but she climbs onto the roof of the car. She hits the car to activate the alarm, which makes the animal leave the place. Shortly she sees that David is scared and has difficulty in breathing. She calms him and makes him sleep. She also sleeps on the roof of the car for the night. After a night filled with nightmares, in the morning Sandra sees her son is very hungry and thirsty and notices that the car's temperature is rising. Sandra begins to wander around the desert near the Monolith car. She is also now dehydrated and tired. She finds some water to drink and continues her search for help. After some time she finds an abandoned plane at a deserted airport. On the other hand, the Monolith's temperature keeps rising. David feels very hot, and the car's emergency fans are now activated. Here Sandra gets into the plane and finds alcohol, old tires, some gasoline, and a lighter. She drinks some alcohol and burns the tires to make smoke for help signal. Afterward, she fills water in the gasoline bottle and brings it to the car. When she reaches the car, she notices that David is struggling to breathe and starts to lose consciousness, while the temperature of the car rises as the air conditioning is switched off. She calls him, but he didn't respond. She feels the car's temperature is very high and spills water on it, but it can't help her to wake him. Sandra is frustrated and again begins to break the windows but can't. She then brings some branches and uses gasoline to burn them to make some smoke in front of the car, so it detects it as an emergency and opens the doors. But the car switches the exhaust fan to stop smoke from getting inside. She is now very frustrated and tired, and went to sleep. In her dream she and Carl came to the same place, and we see her crying, because it seems that he is dead. They blames each other for their son's death. Shortly she wakes up to her dream's voices. She then finds the same hungry wild animal called a coyote. It attacks her, so she tries to climb again on the roof of the car, but it is very hot. To save herself she goes under the car. She tries to tackle the coyote, which bites her ankle. Afterward, she understands that the animal wants the carcass of the deer, so she pushes it toward it. As soon as the coyote pulls the carcass off from the car starts to move back, descending down the hill. She tries to stop it, but can't. It is near to fall from the cliff. At the same time, a stone comes on the way to the car which stops it. Later, an idea comes to her mind from the store, where she has watched a cartoon which throws a safe from the cliff to open and recover a diamond. She wants to apply the same to the car, and also doesn't want to risk her son, but she has no option left. Sandra then decides to throw the car from the cliff. She uses the wrench to break the stone and pushes the car from the mountain. After getting in the air, the car's AI system detects it as an accident and activates its balancing feature in the air. Shortly we see the car land safely and didn't affect by the accident. After some struggle, Sandra came to the car and notices that the vault mode is now deactivated. She is very happy to see this and quickly gets her son out of the car and takes off his clothes to balance his body temperature. She then quickly gets into the car and drives. Shortly we see there is no route shown in the car and the way in front of the car is very inclined. The Monolith suggests all-terrain mode and Sandra confirms it. It activates a very powerful off-road mode and runs like on a highway on the mountain, even breaking through stones until reaches the road. She directly brings David to the hospital, and after a while she sees him wake up and hears Mom for the first time. And the movie ends. Leave a like and subscribe for more movie recaps. Thanks for watching.